Richard, we'll talk later. We'll have a nice conversation after game number 1. And, well, Tidebound, the numbers benefit them when a Mars has a 14% win rate.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's
Pretty bad.
It's because they've been playing it with the other facet. This time around, there aren't really many saves. They also wanted to have, I would say, another backline jumper. It's going to be a lot of sustain, a lot of survivability coming up from the heroes. Shadow Word, you have Phantom Assassin with Satanic, you have Beastmaster with the Aghanim Scepter, so he's going to be getting that healing. They get a kill inside of the arena. You heal up by so much, and there's no healing reduction coming out from any of these heroes. These heroes, they don't build into Shiva's Guard, Spirit Vessel, or anything. We might be seeing some Spirit Vessel maybe from Keeper of the Light. I would definitely love to see any kind of healing reduction that they can get, but we'll see how Tidebound is going to itemize.
I know I keep referencing the same event, but when we were in Belgrade, I feel like Bach was taking this facet for Mars when he was playing it. If I recall correctly, that was actually
it really
the more
depends on
popular
the game.
facet.
If you're playing against the heroes that have a lot of saves, and Saksa immediately going to go into the outer ring and block one of the camps.
Couple of bounty runes for the side of Tidebound. Let's take a look at how Nothing to Say does on this puck. Feels like a pretty good puck game overall. And Nothing to Say is definitely a flashy hero when it comes to mid. So
This facet, I'm going to keep going back to this because I'm very, very excited that there's going to be multiple ways of healing. You drop that arena, you get a kill. Pretty much everybody's going to go back to full HP. This is 30% of his max HP and mana, and you get 20% attack damage as well. So there's going to be a lot of right-clicking. It works really well with Phantom Assassin, considering that you do have that insane amount of burst coming out. Allies do receive 50% of it, and it lasts for 20 seconds.
That's not bad. It's quite some time, and see First Blood goes through for Tundra there. Whitemon getting that kill on a Bach. Speaking of him, Bach, you know, there was a match where I'm seeing one of his most recent Mars games where he did have a long 54-minute game with this facet on Mars. Ended up doing about 3.2 thousand healing with it. He went
I thought you were going to say 3.5 thousand damage. Sometimes it does happen with the hero, not as low, but yeah, it is a good amount of healing.
Try to see if I can find any other examples, but for the moment, you know, we've got that Mars on mid one, so those were kind of the examples that I had remembered. We'll see how he does here. Saksa on the Slark. We've seen this 4-position Slark quite often. Trying to take away that vision, but now they've got the Nightmare, and Shiro looking like he was ready to get a couple attacks out on a Saksa, and all of a sudden he's kind of surviving a little bit, but finally falls. I mean, that was not as easy as they thought it was going to be.
Lane was already pushing in. Klings can be deceptively tanky. He is, like, you think you can kill him, but suddenly he drops that magic wand, uses it, Death Pact as well. Maybe if he has Fairy Fire, Lotus is going to spawn in 50 seconds. This hero is very good. Panel did talk about carry-to-carry matchup with the itemization. You're building into Maelstrom, which procs through evasion. Every proc does. You're building your Shard, which doesn't care too much about evasion either, and also Bloodthorn Carrier. So there's a lot of good items that Klings can buy. But for Tundra, it's all about that speed. I think this lineup also comes online super quickly. We saw Beastmasters multiple times. When they are being played from the mid lane, they hit that tempo, they hit that timing, and suddenly they're getting control pretty much of the whole map.
And if the matchup over mid kind of makes it and goes over benefiting mostly the Beastmaster, we could see that pace really start to be a problem. You want to make these counter plays potentially with Nothing to Say on this puck if he can get himself into that 6 and have that Dream Coil available. But what's really the combo here for Tidebound? Is it just sustaining and hoping Dream Coil with an early Shiro rotation is the damage? Or a pick-off potential with at least what they're hoping for, a quick 6 on Bane?
There's a lot of synergy between your safe lane and off lane, a lot of minus armor, Puck to keep them in place. He's the one who's building into Witchblade, so you have True Strike against Phantom Assassin. Good amount of, I would say, this is not like the most teamfight-oriented lineup, but good amount of sustain. Bristleback being super tanky. healing from Keeper of the Light, Blinding Light as well. But the combo, this is what I want to see. The sustain and survivability from Tundra. Once they get that, because this is going to be some drums probably picked up on Saksa. We saw a lot of Yule Scepter, and if they can get the hands on early Tormentor, which they should have enough damage, even though there is Bristleback on the other side plus Klings, they can also take care of that. But if they can take a good fight at 15 minutes and take that Tormentor, they have pretty good shards.
Bane just getting chased here. Sox again, the Essence Shift stacks up there. 5 right clicks. Leaving Shiro alone to hit level 4 and have this 1v1 against mid one. But not playing Bach with the Fatal Bonds and a Stifling Dagger, but he really is a pretty hard hero to kill between these two heroes. So nothing to say. He is right now experience a little bit leveled higher than his opponent. I mean, not doing too bad. He's about a 4th of a level ahead. But Crystallis and Whitemon, they're looking for Bach, who stayed in the lane pretty low. Shadow Word on a Crystallis, and eventually Bach dies. He decided to stay in the lane and be at this low health. They get the kill onto Soxa down bottom, but they don't quite have the damage to get the kill on a mid one.
Yeah, Mars not the strongest of the laners, especially when he's paired up with something like Slark. Playing into 2 range heroes against 2 melee can be relatively difficult, but so far I'm seeing mid one doing a very good job. 22 CS and 3 in the mid lane, 29 and 7 against 21 and 5 on Puck. BZM, I don't remember last time when he had a really bad game. Every single time we watch him lane, this guy gets on top of the net worth 10 minutes in.
He has quite literally always been to the top, and he is actually going to be hitting this 6 before the puck. Now having that Primal Roar, if they have that +1 addition, maybe they go to the Pounce at 6 minutes, they could bring somebody over. Soxa might want to make the rotation. Nobody coming over just yet for that 6-minute rune. But now you finally see Planet, who will make the move towards the top rune spot. Whitemon's here, and they are trying to make a play as well. But there's the Waning Rift, and it's going to be an Arcane Rune over bottom. The Illusory Orb is to jump over to and maybe get there before the Beastmaster. It's going to be close. But he's also got this board to deny it if need be, so he'll hold on to it, and BZM's going to get that Arcane Rune. Whitemon and Sox is still here to try and make a play. This Obs searching. Mid one. He's only level 5, but Shear's kind of standing still and doesn't have a lot of mana to play with. Soxa, he's deep in on this. They're going to TP one over. The Fatal Bonds, they thought it might do more. But Bane standing forward and nothing to say is going to come over. And they do have this Dream Coil to get the kill on Soxa. They'll lose Bach at the top lane.
Ooh, that coil. It seems like it needed to connect onto mid one as well. Not the easiest hero to kill. And again, Shiro, he's super tanky. Even without using Death Pact, pops Magic Wand, sitting underneath the tower. If he has those 2 Death Pact charges, it's going to be very difficult to kill him. BZM making a move. He wants to steal enemy XP rune.
They're going to need some help, and the Phantom Assassin's actually coming over here. Bach's not exactly in a good spot to try and get this, and he might just die back-to-back for it. Both these shrines go the way of Tundra, and then they also get another kill on a Bach.
Yeah, Bristleback, he's dying there level 4. Will definitely need any kind of stacks he can get. I can see only 2 stacks in the triangle, which is going to be his way of coming back into the game. He also has Keeper of the Light to replenish the mana, but so far, Tundra, they're playing it really well.
This is crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen this, but it's 4-3. All 4 deaths on one team is Bach. All 3 deaths on the other team is Soxa. Nobody else has died. He's got a 75% win rate on this Slark. They do move over towards mid. And with those extra shrines taken, Whitemon, he did pop that Black Grimoire. So he's already level 6. Wasn't what we're used to in seeing the Black Grimoire get a couple of charges and hold on to it for a little while.
Level 6.
Take out this vision that's on the
8
back
minutes
end
in.
too.
He wants to have that online as soon as possible. So Rock is ready. They have not that much control against Buck. That's why they picked it. And it seems like both supports will find some things. some kind of vision that was planted.
Now stacks being taken by Tundra too. They're taking over the Tidebound part of the map. They got the shrine. They'll get these stacks. At some point, you're going to expect maybe a little bit of an answer coming in. Maybe use that Dream Coil, but they just do not have the heroes ready to go.
Having protection from that early level 6 from Warlock makes it very difficult to invade. Tidebound.
From Aurora. And
they need to get out
here. I mean, this is
such
four
a
heroes in their
classic
triangle.
Tundra move. Yeah, bringing in numbers. Even Crystallis is here. Planet getting quite a lot of CS from that one.
Still holding on to the Chaotic Offering. And Soxa even thinking about going even deeper. They want to get this obs. They will get it. They'll take the vision away and have their own onto that cliff again. This is, so far, really oppressive from the side of Tundra. There hasn't been much for Tidebound again. That being said, Shiro still has farm. It's not terrible from the puck, but it could be way better.
It definitely can. Still yet to see Arena. He opted to go for more like farm-oriented build, going for God's Rebuke, having 1 point in Bulwark just in case if he's getting attacked by Clinks. Reducing some of the damage could come in handy, but he's in a really good spot.
Soxa with the Nightmare, but purged off. BZM now has this amplified damage. He's going into that early Ags, of course, and he wants to have that timing for the Drums of Psalm. He stole some stacks and will have some more of his own to take. And the whole time, you know, Crystals gets involved, but he's been free to farm up in the top lane. He's top of the net worth. Now going into the Battle Fury, he did go for that Orb of Corrosion. We've seen some Phantom Assassins skip the Orb of Corrosion, but you saw Crystallis willing to fight, so he's going to have that extra bit of punch.
Big Panic all chatted in the previous game saying Duratio mode, and I see Phantom Assassin by Crystallis involved in all 5 kills. So he's ready to join relatively early on. That Battle Fury timing is definitely going to be a good one.
Nightmare this time. Planet recalling some help. They'll drop down the arena. They've got the Chaotic Offering. That Planet have nothing to say.
If they get a kill.
They get anything. They will get Innocence, and they'll take out Planet. Both heroes die on the side of Tidebound, and this is just going very poorly for the Radiant side.
It is a lot of sustain on their side, and this is going to be a tower. They were so ready to get into that fight. And again, Crystallis coming through the Twin Gate, getting involved in every single kill. This is such a big timing. I see 2 of the supports on Tidebound. They really don't have much. Bane is still level 5. Your Keeper of the Light is level 6. But these are very easy heroes to kill. Soxa
starts dancing. Dream Coil, that snaps. That just feels like, I mean, he was already backing up. They don't make a follow-up move off that Dream Coil. A little bit of panic.
Not sure where the damage is. It definitely needs to come from Shiro. Shiro still has good amount of farm, but Mars is taking over. And again, Bristleback getting caught. 0, 5, and 0 after they kill him here.
So many deaths on Bach. He doesn't have an open lane to play in. Every time he moves out a little bit, they find him. Sox has done a great job. He's level 7. He's the same level, at least for the moment. Not the same experience, but he is the same level as this Bristleback.
Yeah. Slarksa, he always delivers. Every single time I watch him play. We talked about his itemization. He's doing a lot of work, scouting things out, making sure that there's no sentry, no obs. We'll try to square up against Y.
Another Shadow Dance. Waning Rift pulling them back. They've got the silence, but do they have the control? There's the Nightmare, but Dark packed off. And he just gets to leave again. And Sox has just been such a thorn for Tidebound. They really can't make anything happen. They're hoping, at least what it looks like at this point, is that Shiro's going to bring in some damage when he's ready. But where is that timing? Where does Tidebound find a way to turn this game?
That's a good question. I see Tundra dominating pretty much all 3 lanes, and they're going to hit a pretty early timing. Blink Dagger on Mars. Phantom Assassin with Battle Fury about to be completed, and you also have Aghanim Scepter in your Beastmaster.
Huge lead for Tundra at this point in the game. this probably also turns into the first Tormentor if this all continues to go this way. And Crystallis again finding Bach. I mean, this is a 6th death. He is averaging a death every 2 minutes.
Oh, that's really a tough one. You also, his stacks got stolen. He got completely dominated in the lane. You're playing into Mars, which is going to turn you with the spear, and you're also playing into Phantom Assassin. So there's going to be break mechanic relatively early into the game. I don't think he even needs to buy it, considering how low of an impact he's having on Bristleback right now.
Low of an impact? It's no impact. He's just existing, but not living. Now you've got the drums of Slam, even more damage for Tundra. And so much of this, we've seen this, just so much of the game is Tundra farming across the river. And that comes with taking the offlane tier 1, but they didn't take the mid tier 1. They have taken the safe lane, but they do feel free enough to farm and feel strong enough to farm this deep on the map.
Shiro, who had a relatively good laning stage, doesn't have a hero he can play with. It needs to be Puck. But other than that, other heroes are really not doing much. We saw one attempt from Keeper of the Light to try to go for the recall. That didn't end too well for them. Fiend's Grip, yet to be seen.
How can you think you're going to be able to hold the grip, right?
Very difficult. There's a good amount of stuns. You're playing against Slark, who is also going for Yule Scepter. And then you have Rock, which is one of the better overall ultis to stop it. You have Blink Dagger on your Mars. And who's going to pick it up? It's going to be Whitemon.
Always deserving.
Yeah.
Whitemon has done a very good job this tournament of lifting up some of Tundra's struggles on his back and carrying them to a victory from the 5 position. And Bach again, stationary, top lane, trying to just survive. But they know he's here and they want to lock him down. They've got the pounce for the leash. Mid one could come in and follow this up. He's got the blink into the arena, and now they've got the chaotic offering. Dream Coil is going to be placed down onto 2 of these heroes, but what do they get out of it? Bach's still alive. The Primal Roar comes through. The Waning Rift's onto a couple, but they just don't have the damage. Now, with the Hawk diving down and nothing to say, he's solidly still for a moment and dies to Crystallis, who has a double kill. This is a 10,000 net worth lead at 16 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I know in Tidebound they're also a team that can GG out relatively early on, and this one doesn't feel salvageable. They don't have the heroes, they don't have the combo. It feels like 2 supports aren't really able to do much. They lost the lanes. And now the game is in a state where their heroes are not that good at making a comeback. This feels pretty miserable to play Keeper of the Light in a losing game. Same goes for Bane. Your Bristleback, I mean, he's just not a factor. 0, 7, and 0.
One of the worst games I think we've ever seen Faith Beyond have.
Probably.
Now they've got an Aegis. I mean, this is the rule of Kaka, right? If it's time to call it,
it's time to call it.
I mean, that guy will call a GG while he's up in the air on a Ravage. He's solid in a Chronosphere. He can still type, and he'll call GG when it's time. But, I mean, the throne is not dead, and the team is not GG'd out. They just got a kill, and they're going to try and find their way back into it.
Slark killed his courier, so Klinks doesn't have Shard available for another minute and 15 seconds, which is pretty big. It is his farming tool. It is his way of dealing with Phantom Assassin's evasion. Map getting smaller and smaller. You also see Shiro in the mid lane. BZM, level 12, Blink Dagger, Aghanim Scepter, ready to jump.
An Aegis for so long and a regen rune for BZM. I mean, he feels more than fine. BKB's been picked up 18 minutes into the game. It's Orb of Corrosion, Battle Fury, BKB. So much gold for this Phantom Assassin, and honestly not too far behind him is BZM. Nothing to say is here, but mid one, he's gonna try and stick with it. Dream Coil stuns him up, so nothing to say can try to get away.
Nice try, nice try. He's also going for Aghanim Scepter. Last time I see somebody queuing up Aghanim Scepter, it was Amar, and that game didn't end too well for them when he was playing Mars. Let's see if he decides to commit for it. There's always a better item. other than Aghanim Scepter, but seems like mid one thinks that they have enough. Arena, Spear does miss.
Doesn't land it, but has the roar as the follow-up with the drums of Slav. And there's a kill. Have some heal. I will say there are those games where it feels like you can build anything. Zinq's had a couple of those where he was playing Weaver in the 4. They wanted him to get Radavetos. They were up about 12,000, and he what? First item, Daedalus. He's done some weird things with that hero, but not as egregious as,
Bach.
say, a Axe here.
They see Bach, they kill Bach.
Yeah. They have surrounded him. And it'll take some time. Maybe Bach gets something. They use that Yule as the Chaotic Offering came down. Mid one's in some trouble, but the Spear pushes him back, and in 43 seconds, the Bristleback will be Bach.
Spark of Courage actually keeping him alive there. That extra 5 armor that he got really made the difference.
2 minutes still with this Aegis. What does Shiro at least have? He's got that shard finally. Have the Mjolnir finished soon. He'll go to the secret shop himself. He doesn't want the courier to get killed or sniped, and rightfully so. Sox is right there. So they've got this Mjolnir, and maybe they could get a kill. Again, it would have to require like a Fiend's Grip coming through from the Bane, which is the way they got him the last time.
Crystallis ready to jump in.
Crystallis right there with him to get a kill on a planet.
Immediately peeping to the mid lane. They want more.
Arena, yeah, they're gonna go. Spear doesn't connect, but Shiro, he does not have the damage.
And look at those heals.
He's so dead. And the rest of the team is on the run. Nightmare, who cares? I only have good dreams.
And they see him.
Oh, they just can't get away. Every step of the way, Tundra has just been ice cold to Tidebound.
So quick. Mid one is going to take that creep wave from the top, so they can still push the high ground if they want. Try to poke a little bit, but against Coddle, not the easiest thing to do. Planet still has, I would say, a relatively good amount of farm considering how everything is going. He's about to finish off Aghanim Scepter in 20 minutes, which is not too bad compared to other position 4 who is Slark, and they are keeping up.
11-0-4. Shrine active and taken by mid one. He's level 16. He's all good. Bach actually steals one. He has to farm on the other side of the map, hoping to get something in this game. Little does he know, Crystallis with the shard is on his way.
They also have shard on Slark. So survivability inside of the arena is gonna be nuts. You drop a rock, no basher yet. Almost 2.5 minutes faster than the average. 20 minutes in on Slark.
Shiro going Dragonlance, going BKB. But you saw, he doesn't have any survivability. He died in 2 shots.
I think he might be going to game 2 instead of going for these items in the next few minutes, because this game, there just isn't enough. He had a good game, he had a good laning stage, doesn't have a hero to play with. They're in again, mid one, searching for a target.
Yule's onto the Bane, the Spear connects, and they should have some follow-up. They're burning him with the Shard activation from mid one. Will-O-Wisp is down, and it's in a good spot on these steps to slow them down on Tundra, but they'll still collect the gold and get themselves an extra bit.
Nice Nightmare with the sleep wall, gets him on the low ground. Crystallis is in.
In with no fear. Another Yule's Arena Spear and a combo from Crystallis with a double kill. PA's contracts are being filled. I mean, there is nothing Tidebound can do. Even the most perfect of fights doesn't seem feasible.
They need to invest so heavily just to get 1 kill. They need to use Dream Coil, have Bristleback in front to soak up some of that damage, and have Clinks focus on the same target. Now you also have Slark with the gem, so say goodbye to your vision.
Say goodbye to being invis, say goodbye to game 1. Tundra, just nasty what they've done. And I believe, yeah, Slark is still every death. Nobody else on this team has died.
You said that 15 minutes ago.
And
which
it's
means
still
that
true.
they didn't get a single kill for a very long time.
They got Sark with the Fiends group bottom. That was the last time they got a kill. Whitemon is 1-0-12. I mean, this is just one-sided as it gets.
Oh, they see them. This Observer Ward. Crystalis thinking about jumping in. He has break. Shard is ready.
And there's the roar. They've got the Fan of Knives. They'll rip the bristles right out his back. BZM's got another kill.
Crystalis jumps
Dream
out.
Coil down, but he's got the BKB, just jumps away. Innocence pauses the game, has a little bit of lag, and
Whew, got me worried there for a second. I thought Bristleback wants to use buyback, yeah. That has been fixed, so all good. Level 18 on Phantom Assassin. That extra status resistance, extra tankiness, keeping him alive.
they've made this Mars look really good. For a hero that's got 14% win rate, you wouldn't expect it. Yeah, 13-0-5, 5-0-7, 2-0-12, 1-0-13. Sark is, uh-oh. Kato can't control himself.
Well, sometimes I can't control myself either. Let's see. It could be maybe connected to Will-O-Wisp.
Oh, no. oh, no. He'll reconnect. It'll be fine. Clearly, he'll be able to control his hero. This matters a lot. All right, he's fine.
He's moving.
Fine. He's moving.
Never
He's
mind.
moving. Oh, wait. He's not moving. I mean, at least Tidebound are all laughing.
They know. They know. They know what's coming the next couple of minutes.
Well. Here we are again. This feels like just yesterday, just today.
It's always something.
With who?
With you and with some of the heroes. We've seen...
It's happening again. I don't understand how I'm shouldering the blame here.
So Richard Lewis just came to our casting room and said, I don't know if you could guys hear it, but yeah, it's B-Cop's fault.
This has been a theme.
It's been a pleasure working with you, Benjamin.
Uh-oh. It's been fun. Maybe next time.
So first we had Warlock, which was not allowed thanks to guys figuring out another bug abuse. That was, I don't know if it was related to Hand of Midas. There's always Hand of Midas somehow involved. Then he was not available to even be picked. Then we had this interesting one with Doom yesterday with his buyback. Share control.
Please. There's nothing I can do but laugh. I don't have words. It's, oh gosh. Why in his cam just like,
Nah, you can see them on camera. They know. They're laughing pretty hard. Everybody except Shiro. Bach is like, I'm out. 0-9 and 0. This is the first griefer. He's out of the game.
I think what we should do, it's only 24 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Coddle needs to stop horsing around. It's not funny.
I say we remake.
Nah. He's going to try to reconnect and see what's going to happen.
Oof. Yeah, he'll try to reconnect. This is what, the fourth time? Fourth time is the charm. This is the time. I wonder, is it really a bug with Will-O-Wisp? You know that?
Not really, but I'm thinking if... maybe he has a will of his own, so he... It has to be. It has to be. Like, well, what else is there?
I don't know. Recall bug? Could it be like a positioning thing? I'm not... maybe an interaction with, like, Nightmare? I don't know. I got nothing. It's just an interaction with me in the lobby. If I really had to guess.
They're going to try. Let's see.
Here we go.
He's moving, but he clicked that long time ago, so this is not a good sign.
Oh! Hey, we're
We
back.
got it.
We're back.
We fixed it.
We're back. It only took... This was the time. No pause. We're not going to be here for another hour and a half on this one. We're back. We're ready to go.
I think, Tundra, their comms right now are go end the game before we find another bug. It is time to close it out, guys. Don't wait for the next Roche. Roche could respawn in a matter of a couple of seconds, so let's see.
Oof. That was close. It's still just 25 minutes into the game. Still a 20,000 net worth lead here for Tundra.
It's just an old man on the horse. He forgot where he was going.
You just hit that age, right? Sox are going to go through bottom to the twin gate. I think the rest of the team is going to join him. What was the timing on that Tormentor? Don't quite remember, but it was relative. Yeah, there it is. All right, they knew. Knew pretty immediately. Whitemon realizing he may need to turn around, not get too close to this, but this is Shard for BZM.
Duration by 5 seconds, and you get an extra Hawk.
Ooh. Get to own another bird, and Roche, we're looking at objectives. They did take the Tormentor. This is a full Roche timer, based on what I'm seeing. Or actually, no.
It's right now.
It's a short Roche timer. Wow, I really know how to tell. Yeah, it's spawned.
We were trying throughout the event to figure it out.
And the arena, Will-Wisp is there and trying to keep alive with a Nightmare. He'll be A-okay. Don't have to worry about that one.
I just don't see them going inside the Roche pit and trying to contest this.
No arena now this time, though. Kadak offering in 25. What do we need from Shiro? What's next? MKB.
Big item.
This is the item that changes the game.
He has Serrated Shiv, so that's a good start. Good way to deal with Phantom Assassin Evasion, 20%.
There's the roar. They know what's going on.
Serrated Shivero is actually underrated item, I would say. When you want to burst somebody in certain situations where you're dealing with some earlier butterflies and TBs and morphlings, could come in handy.
I definitely agree. Oh, nothing to say. Tries to TP.
That didn't clip him, but they do have roar.
Spear and a roar. And another 425 gold there for mid one. All the while, they've got this Aegis into the hands of Crystallis, and they've put themselves up a massive amount, and Bach has been spotted again. They are going to hit him with the Chaotic Offering and lock him into an 0-10-0 game.
Whew. This has to be his worst game, probably ever in his career.
If I had to guess, I don't think, and I don't know this for sure, but even maybe his first game was this bad. When he opened up Dota for the first time and played, I don't think he went 0-10. Shiro,
Sentry.
Sentry down, fan of knives, and this is going to be another kill for Crystallis, who's beyond godlike at 14-0-6, involved in 20 of the 25 kills right here by the tier 3 tower. It's still just Sark. I know we paused for a while, but Sark's still the only one who's died on the side of Tundra.
Look where BZM is.
And another courier's dead.
In the middle of 4 heroes. Did manage to use his BKB. Mana getting drained.
And the Will-Wisp, BKB, not enough.
Ooh.
They got the kill on a BZM. They at least get the Beastmaster.
That was close.
First
Maybe
one to
if
die.
If you swap the Magic Wand, immediately swap the Strength Treads would give them enough. But I wanted to TP out immediately. And 23k gold lead. 28 minutes in.
That lining.
We are getting close.
Also, Bach got an assist. 0-10-1.
Now we're cooking.
He's back. Shiva's picked up for BZM as they continue to play near where the tier 2 tower was for Tidebound, and Shiro closing in on this MKB, but he just needs to be able to survive. That's the, I mean, his biggest struggle right now is survivability. Yeah, it's going to be great when you're able to hit Crystallis, but he's got an Aegis, he's got a Satanic, he's practically got 3 lives, and you got to be able to survive for at least more than 3 seconds in a fight.
If he's the one getting caught inside of the arena, he's gonna die. Unless he has that pack that he can jump to, which he doesn't even have, so that's that. He has the other facet.
Pounce, Yules, and the kill for Crystallis again, putting him at 15 kills, tripling the kill count of Tidebound. Top of the net worth by a far margin.
BZM is out. He's farming on a different side of the map. They're still holding that Aegis for another minute and 40 seconds.
And they've got some time to work with. Are they going to make sure that they're all able to survive? Even if somehow Shiro gets the damage out, everybody's going Gale Guard on the side of Tundra. And by everybody, I mean at least I saw Warlock and Mars. Let me just adjust my sentence there before we start looking at everybody's neutrals. BZM looking to chase, nothing to say. Shiro's here. Maybe they can turn on this, but they are losing their tier 3 at the moment. Box trying to defend it with the Viscous Nasal Goo minus armor.
It is annoying. Plus, the fact that they have heroes ready right now. MKB is finished on Shiro. Let's see how much damage they can do. BZM needs to join with the team. He's been playing on a different side of the map for quite so long now.
Still 40 plus seconds on this Aegis, so even getting the first kill is not going to feel that great. They'll go in, they've got the arena around on 3. Fan of Knives comes in.
Everybody's full HP.
Nothing to say. He's dead. No buyback available on the puck. Bach's going to be able to survive. At least there's that. But the BKB gets popped by mid one. They're looking to secure this mid center axe. Another stifling dagger thrown his way. And with not that much health remaining, he can't really step in. But Crystallis finally feels some damage coming in from Shiro. Unfortunately, it's not enough to get the Aegis or anything else.
Sure, I'm dealing a good amount of damage, but it's still not enough. You can see what their lineup was supposed to do when they go in, Bristlebacks in the front being very annoying, and then Shiro dealing damage from the distance.
It's what they wanted to do in theory, something they haven't been able to execute all game. Crystal is just pushing up and gets that basher on the courier. And this is really mainly where they've been farming the entire time.
BKBs are about to reset. Arena ready in 20 seconds. So they can try to poke. Go for the high ground one more time.
Yeah, don't have an Aegis this time around, but
they do have amplified damage.
Yeah, you get 1 kill inside that arena, you should be fine to survive most of what's getting thrown. Got that Satanic, the Obs down for Soxa. That's getting some good vision. That sees nothing to say. And they have smoked up. They are moving towards top. They want to kill this puck. Oh, it's also moving back. So they were going top. Now they're going to go back towards mid. And this one might be it.
Oh, they can see the auras on creeps. They're not putting it in the backpack. Swiftness aura on creeps. They know something is up. Going completely different direction. Both teams smoked. He's in.
Blink Arena and Crystallis is in to try and get a kill here on a plant. The Primal Roar is going to be through on a Shiro. Chaotic offering.
No
There's
buyback.
the catch. They get the kill. 70 seconds, no buyback. Distance pops that Ghost Scepter, and they'll find their hands are on Bach. The Quills just are not stacking enough. Neither is the Viscous Nasal Goo. They do not have the damage to get these kills. They'll hit him with the Blinding Light, but with no buybacks on either of these heroes that are dead for Tidebound. The fight for them is just silenced. Shut down.
They see a target, they immediately jump in, and Victory Feast Facet really, you can see the full potential of it, using Depth Shroud as well to heal them up. Getting extra bit of damage, extra bit of survivability. 30% of your max HP for yourself. 15 for your allies. Will-O-Wisp trying to buy a little bit more time, but it's still not enough. Shiro's dead for 20.
Like you said in the last game, 1 set or 2 sets doesn't really make the difference. They'll still continue to throw the Illuminates out here, and they will have Shiro in 8 seconds. But they've got Arena. They don't really need to fully back out. They do have Roar as well. If they want to go back and fight and surprise them, turning it around, they could. But they could also just turn this towards top and set up to get Mega Creeps too.
Saksa. He's going to scout him out. Shiro doesn't have any defensive items.
No, he doesn't. Yules, the Arena, Wise the one in trouble, but he pops that Ghost Scepter. Fiddlemons comes through into both those heroes, and now they've disarmed this Clinks. Blink into the Primal Roar, they get both kills anyway. GG is called, and Tundra take game number 1 in a very, very, very one-sided matchup.
It was not even close. Tidebound, you could feel what they wanted to do with their draft, but
here we are, and Tidebound down to their last life.
Where's the energy? Where's the speech from Moon Meander? That's what I'm wondering. He's a little bit low on energy. Maybe he thinks one is done. They're going to be able to close it out.
In BZM,
like,
they trust?
Yeah, in like 30, 35 minutes. Night Stalker getting pressured a lot in the bottom lane. Not an easy lane for them by any means. Playing into Ursa, playing into Jakiro as 2 melee heroes. Sure, you're playing Night Stalker, so you're going to have that extra bit of threat, I would say. One of the better overall Iron Shell users when it comes down to position 4s. On top of the Spirit Breaker, Tusk, Bounty Hunters. But looking at the lineups, Tidebound, they have a very survivable lineup. This time around, Bach, he didn't die immediately at level 1. Also, different itemization, picking up Bracer immediately, which also means that his game is going to be slightly better. Planet, getting harassed a lot by Whitemon.
Yeah, Chilling Touch will do that, and he is not enjoying his time completely here. But it leaves Bach solo, and Crystal is on this Abaddon. What are you expecting for both these carries?
Pretty standard stuff for Abba. He needs to pick up 1 Null Talisman, which is your mana regeneration. Everything got nerfed. Aphotic Shield, Planet, getting initiated on.
Yeah, they had that Cold Feet and the Chilling Touch, so they were able to get the kill on the Planet and get that first blood for a back-to-back game. Even putting some more pressure on a Bach, they'll have a Chilling Touch if he can get close enough. And that means the chase is there for a second, but under the tower, it's a much more difficult kill to get.
It is a very strong lane for Tundra in the safe lane. A lot of harassment. They have ways of dispelling Gugu. So minus armor not going to be there. You can see Saxa's trying to do the most in the bottom lane. Still sitting at 0-0, the only hero that doesn't have a last hit at the moment.
Just kind of bringing the lane over to this area of the river. Odd spot to be in. Trying to get rid of this Iron Shelled creep, but gets denied by mid one, and now Wise coming around. Do have dual breath, will force a surge. Puts him out of the lane, at least for a moment, and these Iron Shells, as well as these right clicks, have only garnered 3 last hits for the Darkseer.
Not an easy lane, by any means.
Not at all. But they still trust BZM, who's having a good time over him. It's pretty even. 6 denies for BZM, 5 for the Kunkka, and CS is negligible.
What I would like to see is BZM to send 1 boar to the side lane, something that Nisha did to try to help them out.
Would that be enough to get Shiro, or is that mainly just to try and get
that extra slow could really make the difference, because you can't kill the boar. You can see, I mean, it is a very good Ursa game. Starting with Boots of Speed, playing behind enemy lines. Doesn't need to be too much careful about Night Stalker.
No, not at all.
Does have point in Crippling Fear, something that he's gonna have to be aware of throughout the whole game, but not so much in the laning stage.
Another to say, on this Kunkka, we saw no one play the Kunkka from mid. He did ultimately go up into that Radiance. Are you kind of expecting the same thing here from Kunkka?
It depends how the game's gonna develop. It is a good Radiance game. I'm not sure if you need it as much. If he wants to go for Blade Mail, then see how things are going to go, whether he needs some BKB. But there's a good amount of abilities that go through debuff immunity. So if he wants to go for scaling, if he feels he is a good spot where he can get away with Radiance, sure.
Crystal's still up here, 20-5. Planet, not much of a deterrent from this gyrocopter, but we've seen Planet be a playmaker from the 4 with heroes like this. We'll find Whitemon, though. The body blocks try and get him to freeze over. He's not far away from the center. And now they'll chase a Planet with another rocket barrage. Tries to deny himself to neutrals. Unfortunately, Crystallis gets the kill.
Seems like they're not done. Crystallis, another aphotic shield ready. 5 seconds.
And another cold feet.
Whitemon survived long enough.
These quills aren't exactly going to land. And now Bach, he's getting run down here and will die to Crystallis. It's a double kill. And Bach having flashbacks of a game past. They have the X into the Torrent. They'll look for BZM. They'll follow it up with the Ice Path.
3 heroes.
The axes don't matter, and they get the kill. They've got the Flat Cannon and the Rocket Barrage, and they'll freeze over Y. But if they can get Whitemon, they'd be happy with that. Off the Tidebringer and the Rocket Barrage, they do get it, and they find themselves a second.
Yeah, very nice moves from Tidebound.
Shiro? He's dead in between the tier 1 and the tier 2.
Shiro, yeah, playing behind enemy lines while 2 supports are showing. They showed in the mid lane for a good 15 seconds. Still gotta be worth it for them, especially if they can get this tower. They're playing with the catapult, they're playing with Jakiro. BZM, he can't even TP to it. Seems like they're gonna forfeit this tower.
Yeah, they'll have the catapult with it now. And there it goes. Not denied this time or anything of the sort. Bach in here to throw some quills and maybe swipe a Lotus and go, but it took him a couple attempts. There's no borrowed time, and when those quills start to stack, things get very dangerous, and Planet's even here. He wants to try and put some pressure on the Crystallis. BCM's dead mid again, and Crystallis has got the aphotic shield. They go to the Flat Cannon. Planet, though, chilling touch from a distance. They will get this kill on a Planet, but maybe Bach, with some slows and some viscous nasal goo, can get the kill on a Crystallis, and he's got the aphotic shield again. So soak up a bit more damage. There's not a lot of mana left on Bach for the moment, but he does have some backup to maybe get a quill spray or 2. Only had that stick, and it just wasn't enough.
Tidebound, they're trying to speed things up. BZM, Moonmeander talked about that this is going to be, if it's going to be another good BZM game. But so far, he's been shut down. Level 5 on Beastmaster, 7 minutes in.
Innocence here to swipe the Shrine, and not even a contest from Saksa. Now they chase Bach again. The Vortex, the cold feet, it doesn't go off. Bach is playing with fire. He's only got this stick, so he's not getting everything he'd want out of it, but Torrent sends Crystallis back. So now he got the X on him, but that'll send him back under the tower. Sends him back under the tower, and he's got a lot of wand charges, so he's back half health, half mana.
They are desperately trying to kill Crystallis, who is close to level 6, but not there yet. Mid 1, level 6. Trying to put some extra bit of pressure. Very difficult for Night Stalker. His XP rune, I believe, got stolen. Yep. So, very, very difficult game for him. Because you definitely need that level 6. He got level 6
borrowed time. Now the chase is on for Whitemon instead, and Planet gets at least that. They pop the borrowed time, they can maybe go again, but they don't have the ghost ship this time around. Not an easy catch, and Shiro's actually been pushed out of the lane to the point where they're pushing that bottom tier 1. He's going to come bottom, and maybe Nothing to Say joins them in a second.
Oh, I love that TS is skipping Blade Mail, going into the Radiance immediately. He's going to hit a very, very good timing on it. Seeing that lane did go well, they killed tier 1 tower in the mid lane, they killed tier 1 tower in the top, which does allow them to get extra bit of entrance to the enemy jungle. And looking at the stacks right now, seems like Bach's gonna be the one clearing those stacks. Only one death to his name compared to the previous game.
Yeah, doesn't want to match numbers. That's definitely for sure. 2 kills on BZM, 2 kills on Whitemon for Tidebound. So they are spread out at least this time. Shu and Y, maybe thinking about going into the Soxa. He's got the Iron Shell on himself. They can land an Ice Path and a jump from Shiro. They could probably get a kill here. But he'll have Surge from mid one if need be. Actually, he was on cooldown, so he didn't even have that, but they just get under the tower and
that he had Surge available. Sometimes it does work. BZM getting caught again.
Primal Roar and the X back into the Ghost Ship. They commit the wall to this, and they bring Chrysalis over. And everybody's here from the side of Tundra, but the Ice Path, now the borrowed time, nothing to say, he's able to run. He's trying to get away, they go to the call down, and he is out for the moment, but no, Whitemon will get that kill, but down goes down goes mid one. Chrysalis is looking like he's the next one to drop. Planet falls in return. Cold Feet, Shiro.
They get Shiro here, it turned into nighttime.
Boy.
And Whitemon will get a double kill.
That's a bit too far from Ursa.
If they can survive this aggression that Tidebound's putting on them right now, they can definitely get their next items. And I'm looking at how much magic damage they do have. This is going to be Iron Shell, Aphotic Shield, Radiance, all that damage amplified. It's a lot, but if they can survive, and these are going to be relatively tanky heroes, so be aware of some of the, more resets, and they come back into the fight. Suddenly, you're dealing 300 damage per second on some of these heroes.
Ooh. Per second. I mean, that is a pretty big number. Nothing to say, searching.
Yeah, if you have like Aphotic Shield plus Radiance, that's 150 plus. Amplify that damage with Ice Vortex. They're hitting you with the Aphotic Shield. It's starting to add up. 300 was maybe a bit of a bigger number.
You were guessing.
Yeah, it's like more 200 to 250. Okay. Shiro? Oh, no.
Silence on him, but maybe he survives and they can get an Ice Path down, and instead now an Ice Blast hits Y, and it's a double kill for mid one. Mitigating the pressure put on by Tidebound. And they wanted an early start from Tidebound, and they got it, but unfortunately it was a response from Tundra that sticks with it.
Sure, you countered BZM, but BZM is going to be recovering in Triangle. Nighttime for the next 4.5 minutes. I love when Soxa plays Night Stalker. He puts multiple points into Crippling Fear, lowering the cooldown, extending the duration, and keeping 1 point in Hunter in the Night. That's the innate, pretty much, that you do get on Night Stalker.
At 5 seconds, now 5.5, putting that third point in. That is a long time. But it is nighttime. Ice Path not going to connect. Wasn't even Surge needed. Just using the pig pole. Mid one and Soxa, the beginning was tough, but they've mitigated so far. There is an obs on this high ground, so they see him. Probably know that that ward went down as well. Get to that point where they hit the 15-minute mark, and you're kind of expecting Ursa to go and get that Tormentor, right? But they can probably contest.
BZM again.
Ghost Ship called down with the X and the Ghost Ship, but they use the Primal Roar. They'll lock him in with the Ice Path into the Rocket Barrage. BZM dead once more. Mid-to-mid matchup, it's certainly a lead here for Tidebound. And, I mean, all things considered, it's kind of even. Although Ancient Apparition has a good amount of farm. He's got almost 4K. Ice Blast is hit. Doesn't hit directly, but it floated over, and that's enough to make Shiro vulnerable. And with the Ion Shell and the jump on top from this Night Stalker, Shiro has no chance to survive at all.
It is a very difficult matchup against the Night Stalker, and something I pointed out, Crippling Fear is now level 4, so that's 6-second duration of silence on relatively short cooldown. That 9-second downtime, you should be able to get the kill, and now we have a new record. Guardian Greaves on mid one, after having pretty bad first couple of minutes, managed to recover nicely. Guardian Greaves done. Knowing that there's no heal reduction, nothing to say is trying to farm up in the triangle. Trying to get his Radiance timing.
There have been games like this that Tidebound have played where Shiro has been the one shut down earlier on, but he has recovered. He had a TA game that he was bottom of the cores of the net worth for quite some time and ended up making that recovery. And this is the item that'll help him do that. He's got the Battle Fury. He's not bottom of the cores, but he is towards the bottom. And he'll start to be able to recover. Again, Ion Shell, Surge, Ice Blast, probably not even needed, honestly.
This looks like a replay. The way they're executing with the heroes playing in this bottom part of the map, they have one good observer ward, scouting things out if they're trying to approach from the north.
Do we still have the statistic for wards destroyed? I feel like a lot of these Tundra wards are staying up for a long time. I have destroyed 6 from Tidebound. Okay. Just feel like some of the wards they have planted have given them a lot of information to get kills like that on Shiro and the Jakiro back to back.
Yeah, Tundra, I'm just looking at some of the statistics. Tundra is the best team so far in the tournament in terms of observer wards killed. So they're doing a very good job understanding where enemy vision is.
Torm top. A rare sight. Ice Blast. Does not hit onto the Jakiro. That was the only one that was really going to be close, but they do get the shard for the Jakiro. So have access to the Liquid Fire and the Liquid Frost. Nothing to say, has this Radiance. He wants to go into the BKB. He's second to the net worth. He's having a decent time, and Shiro's starting to recover. All compared to BZM, who had a great game last game, top of the net worth for most of it, or at least towards the top with Christos on that Abaddon. But this time around, he's the lowest core, at least for the moment.
Now with Radiance up, it's definitely going to start to get a lot easier for Crystallis. Did die only one time. With all that pressure that they were trying to put, especially between 6 and 10 minutes, managed to only die once, which is really nice. And now they're going to smoke up Crystallis. Radiance turned off. Bach, again, no mana. Does have Soul Ring. It seems like they're going to be doing the full wraparound.
Can they find anyone? Good spot for Innocence if he could get an Ice Path down. And
DPs are coming in.
Tier 1 tower. There's a TP from Bach. He doesn't really have a lot of mana to start with. Pop that ult. The Ice Path lands. A couple heroes will start to retreat from Tidebound. Now you're working with this Axe, though, for this Beastmaster. Get that influx in damage. Got the drums of Slom. Hit that snare drum. Although it sounds like a bass drum.
It does.
I think it's a bass drum. Kick drum if you want. But BZM's a real Paige McConnell.
Luxa might be in trouble here. He's playing with mid one though. Pog pull, used again. Gonna get him out of trouble, and Shiro will die one more time. This is
a solo kill?
I think Ancient Apparition ulti did hit on top of it. X mark, BZM.
X. Pull him back with the ghost ship, get a little bit of revenge. Has to be Ice Blast, certainly. Yeah.
Ice Blast was on cooldown, so I assume they combined Roar and Ice Blast to be able to get the kill.
Yeah, it hit. Or it flew over him. And get that kill into Shiro, and again, slowing down that Ursa, who's got that Battle Fury and trying to just push some sort of a lead out there in the vacuum. Now you're on that cliff. The zoom-in's kind of... We caught you in 4K. That's kind of rude. Planet going to be chased in mid-ones there with Saksa.
They thought Bach's not going to be able to get out, but he was hiding behind the tree. Still, they don't have that much mid-one. Another surge is ready.
Ooh, Saksa's pathing a little bit weird at the beginning, but yeah, he's still way fast enough to escape. Thought maybe they'd be able to catch him, but instead they can't get another kill here.
Another successful initiation from Night Stalker. He goes in, gets out of the trouble. And he's opting to go for Blink Dagger, which I really like. He can lock onto a target.
We know Roche.
Roche is on Radiant's side because of Night Stalker for another 45 seconds.
Do they get this? This is a big
If you
part
can
of
steal
Ursa
this,
lineups.
yeah, exactly. Ursa and Bristleback, I guess they're not expecting it.
Ooh, this is a pretty quick Roche. That was quick enough where now Ghost Ship landed. It was actually on the Night Stalker, but Saksa doesn't care. He's fine. Chasing Planet, Prime Aurora, that's get used, and now Planet's gonna be the one dead to Chrysalis. They've got the Ice Path in the Macropyre. Shiro got the kill on a Saksa, but the Ice Blast hits on a Bach. The chase is on. He's gonna be cold-feeted and shattered out. BZM's gotten the kill, and now Shiro.
Shiro's trying to fight, but the Yule
Off the
Scepter.
enrage, the Yule Scepter, the Torrent, the Ice Path. Can they get this one? Crystal is slow, but surviving, and Shiro, he's gonna die. Oh, he wanted it so bad, but want and getting are just two different
Torrent
things.
connects onto two. Seems like they wanted to chase. Surge was ready, but yeah, not even losing Aegis. Giving Aegis to BZM. There's a lot of overtime damage. Now you're gonna be feeling Drums of Slum, all that damage amplified, Ice Vortex, Aphotic Shield, Ion Shell, plus Radiance. Things are gonna start to get more difficult for Tidebound.
I don't know if they started easy, but this is just being, again, Tundra have had an answer for every single attempt there from the side of Tidebound. I really don't believe it. It's kind of crazy that they've just answered back each time. And Planet here for the 21-minute shrine, but Saksa not gonna be there to deter Planet from getting that.
And really love these Yule Scepters that are coming out.
Yeah.
One of the best items against Ursa. You don't care too much about his status resistance. And also great against Kunkka. So he can get his combo off.
All you gotta do is get the kiting going.
And so far, I see two of them being built. One on BZM, one finished already on White One, plus the Shard. White One's pretty farmed.
And he really is. He's been quite farmed for a while. And he's got his Shard. So he bought that Shard going into the Force Staff next. This Shard's even more kiting potential. Ooh, they're going. They want Bach. The early game might not have been the same, but they have more than enough ways to get the kill onto the Bristle again. They went back to this Bristleback thinking it was going to work.
So far, it's not working.
And Tundra, again, have shut it down.
They have a good amount of physical damage between Kunkka and Ursa. All that minus armor, in theory, should work fine. But he's the one who's really struggling 2 times in a row to be able to go in. Nothing to say. X-Mark. Next time, they might be able to catch him with the Yule Scepter.
They're pushing pretty quickly. Tundra want to keep this pace. They don't really want to give Ursa a chance to collect a couple of items, especially that BKB. Kunkka's got his, which is solid. And the BKB is going to be soon here for Ursa, so they don't really have much of a choice in terms of them getting this item. But if they can put some damage on and potentially kill the Kunkka and the Ursa, especially across the river, they might take a couple of towers. Chrysalis really, you know, he's been in. He's 3-1-8. It's been a quiet 3-1-8.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what you do as Avid. You exist. You burn with Radiance. You get your life back with Borrowed Time.
Starting to farm up more.
Yeah.
He was lowest on the network core just a couple of minutes ago. But now, back to the top lane. Back to farming. And also when I said 300 damage per second, I'm not even exaggerating. We might be able to get it. You have Darkseer with Shard, which is 40 damage. Then you have Ion Shell, which is 90, so that's 130. You have Radiance, so that's 190. And if you amplify some of that damage, some Aphotic Shield, 25% from Ice Vortex. We're getting there.
We're getting there?
Yeah.
Are we not already there?
Depending how we're counting Aphotic Shield. But yeah, we're very close. Nothing to say. We'll use one Torrent. Lock is going in.
Yeah, they'll blink, they'll roar, but it's onto the Gyrocopter, which is the support, but the Ice Blast comes in, that lands onto the Gyrocopter, that means Planet's dead. They'll chase for more, they want the Jakiro. Shiro looking for an opening, and now they'll jump on a Soxa, they'll drop the wall, they've got the Ice Path, but Shiro kited out. This BKB's not for attacking, it's for running. And now they find Bach, they buy back on Planet, and the side of Tundra without Soxa have started to retreat.
Can they get more? Their chase potential really isn't there unless they're relatively close by to use X Mark for Ursa to blink in. Maybe try to slow them down. Yeah, Planet getting a kill there with Rocket and the Shard. Night Stalker, he's causing a lot of trouble, forcing out some of these BKBs, and their vision game is going to be pretty strong. And if they can survive this damage over time that we keep talking about is going to kick in.
Damage over time that we believe may or may not be at 300. The damage is certainly very much pushing Tidebound onto their heels in fights, even by their own side of the base. And BZM, he'll see Planet and kind of gives up on it. Doesn't need to make the move. He could always
he missed
a second and roar.
Kill the Hawk there. Another Tormentor is available. This time should be going Tundra's way.
Yeah, nobody really to answer the call for this one. BKB soon for BZM. Roche potentially up in a minute 30. And the objectives are starting to line up pretty well for the side of Tundra, and this all falls off the back of kind of responding to the early game of Tidebound, but also then using that little bit of an advantage that they got, this early damage that they have, to go and steal Roche from an Ursa lineup.
If they can do it again, that would be pretty massive. Maybe that time around, maybe for the next one, they're going to give it to Abba. But again, they don't have break silence combination, so he shouldn't worry too much about it. So might go to BZM's inventory one more time. And BZM continues to farm up very close to his BKB.
Yeah, these next items are coming through for the side of Tundra. They also buy a couple of smokes. It'll be BKB there. Harpoon for the Abaddon. Force Staff for the Ancient Apparition. Shiva soon. Taking a look at the neutrals, though. Serrated Shiv for the Ursa and the Kunkka. Gale Guard for the other three. Nothing wrong there. Uh-oh.
He caught him.
Forced the BKB. But they use the Roar. BZM is here. And with that, I mean, the BKB is not going to matter, but the Ghost Ship, can he stay alive with this? Doesn't look likely. BZM, again, now dominating. They find the Kunkka, and even with the BKB, there is just Roar, and you can't leave a fight like that. And BZM has certainly made himself available to all these fights from Tundra. How long is this extra Roche timer? Not long at all.
Yeah, it's about to spawn. 15-20 seconds. It's going to be back.
It'll be up before Kunkka is alive. Whether or not Tundra take it in that time, we'll see. There it is. So it's up. 14 seconds, no Kunkka. They can kind of go for it at their discretion.
Ready to jump in.
Yeah, looking for Planet. Has the Iron Shell, but Bach sends him back with the Hairball, and it is daytime. Maybe that's the one advantage that helps Tidebound get themselves this Roche, if they can fight it.
Minute and a half for nighttime and a minute and a half for his ulti to be available. You definitely want to have that vision. I like that Tundra was jumping two supports immediately, forcing one of the buybacks, and now let's see what they can find.
I don't think Sox is enough to go for Roche, but Crystal is certainly would be.
Not the target that you want to find immediately. He's also super farmed. Level 19. Harpoon, Radiance. But once we get to that level 20, 100 DPS simulation, we're gonna be going even over 300, Benjamin.
The numbers are off the charts. Never seen a number this high. When do we get past 9,000? That's... How much DPS would we need for that? Or damage over time would we need for that?
Crystallis still here.
Yeah, they might catch him. But here comes the Ice Blast, and he'll start to heal up a little bit. The homing missile helps him.
He's
he
in
only
trouble
gets to
now.
about 3/4 health.
Fury swipes 10.
Ice Path reactivated. They'll still try to get the kill onto the Crystallis Abaddon. They get the kill. He's dead for 70 seconds. No buyback. BKB committed there by nothing to say. And now this is definitely a potential chance at Roche. It's a real chance, but you need to be careful.
I think they're going to take this fight.
BCM.
25 seconds for AA ulti. That's a long cooldown.
No
Night Stalker,
BKBs.
he does have ulti available, but it's also going to turn into nighttime in a couple of seconds.
Jump in, BZM. Oh, Whitemon.
He's in. Whitemon gets...
Anybody pick it up? It's
Fuel
going to be
Scepter.
Aegis on the bot. They get the kill on a Whitemon. They look over at BZM, who's cleaning up at least one. He'll get the kill on Innocence. They find themselves their hands on mid one. Torrent up into the air, box back alive, going after BZM. He'll drum, he'll slam, he'll try. These axes even thrown out, but nothing to say is here. That's another kill for Tidebound. And with an Aegis picked up, although used, at least they buy themselves some time.
They were a couple of seconds short for getting that jump. And I believe Whitemon, he used Yule Scepter and he used himself. Either he misclicked or he was clicking it so fast that he double-clicked and used it on himself, or he was trying to click on somebody else. But in the end, Bach is the one who picked it up. They still removed it immediately.
Yeah.
But a good move from Tidebound.
But it's eating time, putting Shiro in this position where he's now top of the net worth. I was looking at... I was honestly looking at Shiro for a second. I'll wait for this replay to end. Let's see as we slow it down and look.
Oh,
Whitemon.
PCM.
Oh.
It was him who Yuled himself, I believe.
And then the torrent landed on a Whitemon. So they get that Aegis. And I mean, it immediately gets used, but at least takes it out of the hands of Tundra. So it does buy them some time. They're still down 6,000 net worth, but with an Ursa at the top, you feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, I still want to see them make a move. Even without this Aegis, they still feel fine if they're going to be fighting around Crystallis, because Crystallis died before doing any damage. Sure, you had some Radiance burn damage in the previous fight, but he also needs to be playing around the team. Switching up the item build, thinking that he still needs a BKB.
Immolation, borrowed time, DPS. We're reaching numbers we've never seen before. Tundra still have a good lead, though. And Crystal is caught out by himself. He still takes a long time to kill. And with no Aegis picked up, or well, available, that would be, they could still potentially find a couple of pickoffs that lead to them pressuring again and being right back in the spot that they were without the Roche. Sox even thinking about it. It is nighttime. Might want to make a move. Nullifier picked up for Shiro. There's the Gale Guard activated. Crystallis goes in. They go to the Prime Aurora. The Ice Blast coming through. And now they go to the backlines with the silence. The crippling fear. The call down is there. They get the kill in a Bach. But is anybody else going to die? Not likely.
That vision from Night Stalker. Getting them multiple kills. Getting them to pick and choose which targets they want to go for. Nullifier is a big one. There's a lot of things that can be dispelled. Iron Shell, Surge, Aphotic Shield. All these defensive items. Yule Scepter, Force Staff, Ghost Scepters that they're trying to buy.
They move up, but it's just to clean this creep wave. Planet steps up. Very risky spot to be in, I'd say. You get Harpoon, you get blinked on, you're probably dead. But they are trying to search and clean up some vision. The Harpoon from the low ground. And now they've got a nice path back apart by the vacuum. It's going to be on a 3. And they'll drop this Ice Blast. They'll drop the wall. They get the kill on a planet. However, Crystallis
didn't proc his ulti yet.
Didn't get that borrowed timeout. They go to the Prime Aurora. It's going to be on a nothing to say instead. Who pops the BKB. Torrent pushes mid 1 up into the air. The Ice Path stuns up mid 1 again, but they should be able to get the tier 2 over mid 1.
They have a pretty nasty combo. That vacuum wall into Ice Blast with the shard. This time it did connect only on one hero. Crystallis will commit. He's going for BKB.
Nullifier on Beastmaster.
Nullifier seems to be the item of the patch, dealing with all of these annoying things. Yule Scepter, Ghost Scepter, Solar Crest. Supports, they always have something that can be dispelled.
Gotta clean up the top creep wave. Nothing to say. Closing in on that final piece needed. What does Shiro have? He's going Abyssal. He's got the Basher. 70 gold away. Let's see. Bach, oh, caught again. I mean, they have not played really too deep or too shallow the entire time. The vacuum into the Ice Blast again. Hey, look at where Shiro's at. Forced to enrage, but they've got the Yules. The macro fires on a BZM as well as mid one. He pops the BKB. He's on the run, but Sox wants to stay with him. Crystallis even wants to go deeper. The borrowed time gets popped. The ice path is there. They've got a lot of these heroes here ready to go to back him up. They get the kill in a Y, and Sox is still looking to mess with some heroes.
Another Ice Blast in 20 seconds. So far, execution of these combos had looked pretty good for Tundra. Thinking about going for that high ground.
Yeah.
Soxa providing vision.
Or vacuum
it's time now.
Not that time, though. Vacuum misses off the Yules and into the wall. Shiro's still wondering what else he needs to really feel viable in this game. He's got 20,000 net worth, and it still feels like at times, most times, he's running for his life. A lot of Gale guards, a lot of shivs. Everybody's got their tier 4 neutrals available, so pick up those Mad Stones and look for something different. Waymon's level 18.
This is pretty massive. Lowers the cooldown by another 10 seconds, so we might see double Ice Blast. He was thinking about picking up this Blink Dagger for a long time, so he can execute with the Darkseer. Once they go in, there's still no Blink Dagger on mid one, but so far he managed to pull some really nasty wall combinations with Vacuum.
And with the way that they've been roaring and throwing these Ice Blasts, the damage is also at 400 for Ice Blast at level 3, 14% shatter percentage. Like, this is pretty significant.
I don't know if I like this Satanic too much.
On Kunkka?
On Kunkka, you're playing into Ancient Apparition, you're playing into Shiva's Guard, you're playing into Abaddon, his innate ability when you drop below 35. All that healing, below 40, it reduces the healing by 35%. It's definitely adding up.
Maybe just trying to activate Tidebringer and hope. Madstone soon, Nullifier soon. What will Bach build? And he goes for the Ninja Gear. Or he goes with the, the Ogre Seal Totem. With the Brawny on it. The 245 extra health, the 12 health regeneration.
Wants to be as tanky as possible. Maybe try to get a reset so that Ice Blast doesn't connect onto him, but BZM and those Ice Blasts, they've been connecting so far every single time.
Ice Blast. It flew in after he died. I mean, Bach, Tundra's sick of music because they have killed Bach 30 times this series.
They really did. Crystallis with the Nullifier, they can be jumping the supports and beating an early BKB already.
Yeah, nothing to say he's going to have to deal with this early BKB, but they're not jumping the high ground without the Aegis, at least for the moment. I say that. Crystallis is putting himself in a position to kind of play aggressively.
Going for the other side. He took the tower and going for the barracks.
Nothing to say, doesn't have a BKB. He needs to be very careful. The Harpoon, even with the Force Staff. Nullifier. Pops the Satanic. Ice Blast flying through. That lands onto
It's a zoning
Y.
AA Blast, so they can take the barracks.
Shiro's in. There's the wall committed down. Crystallis finally has to pop the borrowed time. They took the top set of racks, but there's nothing more that they can do.
The chase, it's really not that. You can chase against Trail on Darkseer. It slows you by 50%. And then you throw one Ice Vortex on the ground. It just makes it very, very difficult. You're taking extra damage. They could also turn around with Night Stalker, get that good vision, and go for the play.
17,000 net worth lead. They can just do whatever they want. They're waiting for Roche, and this one is soon. About 10 seconds, 15 seconds or so. Based on the clock. Lotus being built for Bach. They see this courier maybe coming down. That's got a gem. Actually gets delivered to Saksa. He gets caught immediately. They've got the ice path there, but mid one's here, ready to go. They go to the vacuum on a 3, and the ice blast hits
all three of them.
But where is anybody else? Chrysalis finally shows up. He'll get the kill on an Innocence. They'll take out one, and they'll look over at Bach. He shows his back, but man, it's not working.
Whitemon, he's been landing those blasts. This is level almost 20 on Ancient Apparition, so about to have those extra 5 seconds on Frostbitten. You get hit by an Ice Blast, you're either dead or you're out of the fight.
I mean, the thing is, Ice Blast at that level is 40-second cooldown, right? And it lasts for 12 seconds and then 17. So it's basically, by the time you're no longer frostbitten, there might be another one coming your way soon enough.
And he also has Timeless, so extra bit of spell amplification, 10% debuff duration. And they just can't. They can't contest this Roach. They can't leave the base. And also, speaking of that extra regeneration, mid one, tripling crossbow. You see this in very, very certain situations when you're like, okay, we need to stop the healing. It is a bit of a meme item to use. Relatively short cooldown, 12 seconds, but it does reduce the healing by 40%. So with Satanic, you might not even get any kind of healing.
You might lose life.
Yeah.
You have enough of those, and it's just minus. Breaks the game or something. Actually, you know what? Never mind, I didn't say that. I didn't say break the game.
No, we're taking that back.
I'm taking it back. I didn't say that. JK. They'll go for the Bristleback again. Ice Blast does kind of touch. They don't really commit to that, though. They still have this Aegis for 4 minutes, so there's a lot of time to kind of breathe, figure out what you want, and finish this series and move on to the final day. But right now, they need to finish this game and get through the penultimate day. Shiro with the Mindbreaker. He's going into a Lincoln's. He's got his shard already, but he's almost level 25. Is that going to be enough for them? It ain't easy. Just down too much gold. Why immediately? Pinging, I took the vision out. You can come farm here. And kind of taking it slow is Tundra. They don't mind. Kind of finding these next items, having the entire map to farm. They are smoked, though, so they are looking for a play. They'll show Chrysalis over mid. They have these waves pushing in with the Ion Shells.
He's level 25 on Abba.
65 Curse of Avernus, attack bonus speed. Or is that
he gets on top of the target, that targets die almost immediately. You hit the Ice Blast, I don't think you need anything else. And he also has Refresher.
BZM jumps in, and the Ice Blast flying through. Actually, the Harpoon messes that up, but the vacuum into the wall already committed. They're going to go for Bach, but the damage with the Abyssal Blade, they get the kill to BZM. They are holding on for a moment. They've got an Aegis on the Abaddon, so maybe they want to not focus this hero, but they will do so anyway as they get his first life out of his hands. They look over at mid one, who's stunned up, I think thanks to the homing missile.
He needs
find the Abaddon with the Ice Path once again.
Ulti.
They'll activate it one more time. There's the Refresher. There's the borrowed time once more with the BKBP pop by Saksa. They go to the Primal Roar. It's going to be on a Bach, and they are going to continue to rip at him once again. Green jacket, gold jacket, quill jacket, who gives a shit?
They are in, but a little bit of a misplay there. Crystallis pulling him out with Harpoon out of AA ulti. Let's see how they're gonna approach it. These Fury swipes, they last forever. He still has them.
It's just a scratch. So much damage done by Ursa. Crystallis will stand his ground with borrowed time up in 22 seconds. But there's the X into the Abyssal. They can pull him back. Soxa wanted to make the jump. They go to the home missile once again.
15
Try
seconds.
and lock down Crystallis, but there's the surge. And it connects, but no jump is being made. There's no BKB for 8 seconds for the Ursa, but will time out the right way. 4 seconds, 3 seconds till borrowed time is back available. They don't have Bak though jump in, and now
they want to proc
actually send BZM
or
back in. They look for the
macro,
Yules, and that's going to stop him from getting pulled back with the X. They go to the Ice Blast, and Shiro's in trouble. The Nullifire's on him, and he's going to die. 100 seconds with no Ursa. He does have buyback though. Ogre Seal Totem from Planet to try and run. They're going to buy back on Shiro. They'll get the kill onto Planet. He needs to buy back, and he will. They'll find BZM, who's dead for 2 minutes. Soxa might be next. Shiro, though, needs to turn back to help out. Nothing to say. The Ice Panther
Ogre Seal Totem's ready.
Two. They're trying to get the distance, but nothing to say is here. They've also got Surge with the Viscous Nasal Goose. Shiro goes in with a Nullifier of his own. The Torrent lands on a mid one. They've got the vacuum back. They get the kill to Crystallis. They'll look over as they'll try to catch this Darkseer. He's on the run. He'll surge, but the Abyssal Blade nullifies that, and they will take him out.
They need to run it down mid lane. 97 seconds without Beastmaster. They can push it real quickly. Abaddon really pushing the limits there.
An opening here for Tidebound.
He does have buyback available.
This is at least the tier 2. They have Glyph.
They didn't...
And they use it.
You can see what Ava and Kunkka are trying to go for. They're trying to proc each other's like big abilities. One is ulti, borrowed time, and the other one is Admiral's Rum. So he goes in. They kept him like relatively low, but not low enough. And also there was a bit of a mistake there. I'd say Nullifier was used, but
tier 4, straight tier 4s.
Abe, he needs to buy back.
He will. And now all of a sudden you back up, you've got this banner, it's in a good spot for the tier 4s, but they'll take at least the melee racks. That activates another Glyph. And now, do Tidebound stay? There's no BZM for 30 seconds, they know that. They know he bought back.
Crystallis changing his item build. He was thinking about going for Swift Blink, to blink out of trouble, remove his phase boots, but seems like double ultimate, double borrowed time is gonna be the value. Needs to farm some extra gold to finish off that refresher. Is there anything massive coming out as well? Ancient Apparition, he's getting closer to his refresher if he wants to buy out.
Double Ice Blast. See if he's able to make anything. He's also almost level 25. Could get the kill threshold if you want.
They will have double, maybe even triple ulti on Beastmaster, unless they focus him down from 100 to 0, which is not the easiest thing to do. And he also bought out on Shadowblade. Wants to keep the distance. This is also not affected by Nullifier.
Was not staying the right choice from Tidebound?
I don't think they could have taken that fight.
There was no BZM for 30 seconds.
Yes. Kunkka thinking about picking up Divine Rapier. He could also disassemble her Radiance if he wants to.
Will he do that? We'll see. He's got a lot of gold, though. Doesn't necessarily need to, but what's he get rid of from the inventory anyway?
Doesn't have that much move speed.
Yeah, you can't get rid of the phase, certainly. BZM Nullifier Primal Roar, that's going to be on Shiro.
On Shiro.
Sending the Ice Blast, but the Harpoon, it did touch him, so he's going to have that Shatter percentage on him, but they'll go after Crystallis, so pop the borrow time, they go to another Primal Roar. They've got him up.
with the BKB. Once again with the enrage, they go to the Abyssal Blade. Can they get the damage on the Crystallis? He's trying to get the kill here, but
another borrowed time.
Now they're looking over as this Night Stalker gets out. Kofi's gonna proc over. He's frozen. The tidal wave, the Force Staff getting Shiro out of harm's way.
Spark's ready.
Got the kill in a mid one. They take out the Darkseer for 80 seconds. He's got buyback, but they want to go for more. They looked for that X. Couldn't find it. And they need to be careful on the side of Tundra. It's now daytime.
Shiro is very tanky. Refresher orb on him as well. Double BKB. Multiple enrages as well.
What's Roche
anybody's
this
game
time?
to take?
Is Roche's instant?
This is massive. Nobody's counting it out yet. Nothing to say. Let's see if he throws a torrent.
Roche is instant.
Mid one. He has buyback available, but Roshan dies so quickly. BZM scouting things out with the boar.
So they both know, but there's no Darkseer. He would have to force buyback. The boar is there.
Let's see what the play is going to be. Shiro
takes out the boar, goes for it.
It's going down
Ice
quickly.
Blast is coming. Ice Blast will land. Stop them for a second, but nobody's following it up.
20 Fury Swipe charges. Stacks. It's way too much. Roshan dies too quickly. This gives them opportunity to win this game, knowing that the buybacks are on cooldown on some of the big heroes.
They're thinking about going double
Eva.
divine. Both Ursa and Kunkka have it queued up. And now Ursa's got the... All right, Ursa... You know, he had it queued up for a second. I swear it was there.
I did not see it.
Come on! I swear it was there for a second.
He's running out of slots.
I know, but...
Doesn't have Boots of Speed, so Swift Blink is going to be his movement speed item. Almost 10,000 gold on nothing to say. He needs to figure out what he wants to buy. If he feels like he needs something else, you can definitely just buy Refresher and go with it. Double Boat. Tidal Wave, double BKB.
Taking it slow now. What was the net worth lead? It was at its highest, at its peak. Was 20,000 just about. Technically 19,900 and something. At its peak. But that is as high as it was. And now it's back to even. Tidebound pushing their way all the way back into this one. I mean, the game felt so one-sided. Bach was dying again and again and again. I mean, hell, the guy is still 0-8 and 10.
Can't get a kill. He did not get a kill in 2 games so far combined. Doesn't matter. He's doing a job.
Nothing to say buys Boots of Travel instead. And he's marked his phase boots to sell. Still has 7,100 gold for the Divine Rapier if he wants it. But I think he's kind of having second thoughts. Do I go for this? What do I slot out? Ursa not queuing it up again, so I feel even worse. But they smoke up on Tundra. There's a cheese on Bach. There's an Aegis on Shiro. They're starting to shift over through. Maybe they could find something. They might find Bach again. But they'll go for nothing to say instead. Ice Blast connects.
He's gone.
And they are going to get this kill, and he held on to 7,000 gold just for this reason. That's so much gold. They're still going. They're looking over at Bach. He's got a cheese to work with. Crystallis is in. Nullifire on him. Still throwing out the Viscous Nasal Coup. The vacuum on a 3 into the wall. They've got that committed, but they look over at Soxa. They're trying to make the jump, but they're silenced up. They can't keep control of the Night Stalker. Primal Roar onto the support of this Jakiro. Wise Dead has buyback. Nullifier thrown over. It's going to be on a Shiro once again. The damage coming through to the Ursa. He enrages, but can he survive? He's low on health. He needs to find some sort of regen. They've got a
Ice Blast is ready.
At least on
see if Wiseman can snipe
Crystal.
him.
Maybe they can get it on Shiro. But the Ice Blast comes out, and they'll get the first life out of the hands of this Ursa. Borrowed time going
Refresher's
off.
coming on White One.
Crystallis is a bit of a problem, though. He's got the refresher once again, and Crystallis is going to get low, but he's got the borrow time to pop one more time.
White one's ready to jump in.
Ice Blast coming through. Primer War hits nothing to say. They're going to go after
clipped
the
Ursa.
trying to get the kill, but the Ursa coming through. They get the kill and a wipe on the takeout. BZM, the damage for nothing to say is too much. They'll follow up on a Crystallis. They want the kill to the Abaddon. They'll pull him back with the X. Down goes another, and they don't have buyback on Abaddon. He is dead for 2 minutes.
Has buyback available in 50 seconds. Nothing to say, coming in with some clutch damage. Even though that refresher was just delivered on Ancient Apparition, it was not enough. Glyph available on Tundra. BZM, he has buyback available, so does AA. They need to use it.
They're looking to wrap behind, but they might actually get caught by this. The Jakiro is there. They're getting taken off their mission. They want to push this Glyph out. They haven't used it yet. Take the range racks. Sox loses his courier. BZM loses his courier. And now the tier 4s.
15 seconds for buyback on Abba. They're holding the Glyph. Banner has been planted.
The banner planted. Tidebound trying to do it. A wise hold of the Glyph, waiting for this Abaddon to have a moment to come back up. They've got 6 seconds. This is going to be the Ice Blast going in. They've got the vacuum. It's on the 2.
They got the combo.
The Ice Blast lands. They go to the Ice Path, but they don't have the control with the BKB being popped. They'll go after BZM. The damage is there for Shiro. Down goes Sox. Down goes BZM. They look over at mid one, and he's the dead one. But he's got buyback, and so do the other 2. They'll all buy back around the horn. They look over as Tundra now with a tidal wave pushing Crystallis back, getting him away from Shiro. Miscoils again and again as this tier 4 is getting low. They still have access to the Glyph. They look like they'll get the kill to Shiro. He's got buyback. He'll use it immediately. He can TP over to the outpost.
He's coming in.
They get the kill into Soxa. 4 heroes dead.
Crystal
and
is
they
gone.
don't
That's
have
game.
buyback. They'll call GG. We're going to a game 3. Tidebound make a massive comeback over Tundra.
Oh, they managed to do it. Even with all these refreshers, they were able to kite. Damage mitigation coming up from both, coming up from Kunkka.
Thank you very much. And for the last time tonight, we are coming into a game of Dota.
What a banger. Doesn't even...
Tidebound and Tundra.
I don't care what happens. I want to see these heroes in action. We saw position 4 Templar Assassin, which is going to ruin the pubs for the rest of the week, probably. But one good thing that did happen in Dota recently is that we can't see what people have been playing, what they've been up to, and this opens up a lot of these new heroes that are going to come out, like this position 4 Templar Assassin, and now we're seeing Carry Underlord as well with Demon's Reach Facet. So that's going to give him good amount of cleave, good amount of damage as well. It does feel like there is a lot of theory crafting going on right now, and this is some of the new stuff that we're coming up with, and I'm really liking it.
The new tech, as you would usually like to say. Sometimes when you put these offlaners in the safe lane to try and be the carry, it seems like you're carrying from another lane. Sometimes you're mid. I would say last game, nothing to say. He was the carry from the mid lane. Is that the situation here, or does Underlord have the tools necessary to still carry the game?
Haven't seen it, but in theory, it should be able to do so. Sven has more explosive damage. He blinks onto the target. He wants to be able to delete it. Underlord has global presence. I want to see... Because you have Ember Spirit, you have Underlord's Fiend's Gate, you have Ancient Apparition ulti. So a lot of ways to deal. Like, you can outnumber opponents relatively easily.
Well, global presence, maybe start with a Blink Snowball or Blink Walrus Punch later in the game. This time it's a mid Sand King, and BZM's on the Ember. We'll see Bach, I think, very willingly not on that Bristleback.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to play something else.
He was like, guys, I get it, but when I go 2-24 and 6, I think it's time to pick me something else.
I want to have something with more impact. At the early stages, BZM, he played Beastmaster 2 times in a row. It looked really good. From the off lane, he's still going to be doing the same thing with Aghanim Scepter build, Power Treads.
Is it Axe build this game? It is, right?
Yeah, it is.
The Beast Mode facet. Sleight of Fist onto Nothing to Say, and it's White Mom back on this Ancient Apparition as well.
Had a really good game.
Yeah. Ice Blasts were on point. You know, Mid One had a solid game of the Dark Seer last game, too. A lot of cool combinations with the Vacuum Wall Ice Blast combo. Respect out of this stand-in, for sure. And for right now, we'll see if he can maintain it. The top lane, Planet, body blocking, and throwing that sentry in, putting some pressure on the White Mod. See how this goes for the bot
bottom lane where you've got Deadshot, you have the calling, maybe you've gone to the Stormhammer and you have the damage here from the Sven early. But it's not going to be too easy. Mid one, he last game at least went into the Surge level 2 to help a little bit of an escape. Also, Shards, when you get level 2, you've got Snowball to delay the damage coming out. So this doesn't feel like the best killer lane for Tidebound,
no,
but it's certainly doable.
It's going to be more used to react to what Tundra are doing. Once Tundra starts to play more aggressive, they're going to try to get a return kill. And nothing to say. Doing a very good job in the mid lane. In terms of CS. 11-1. Bach, this time around, doing much better. And as we can see, Underlord, he is going for Mask of Madness build. Wondering what the next item's going to be. Whether that's going to be Echo Saber, some SNY type of a build, or he's going to be tanking up.
And that really is the question, right? Look at the Sven game, by the way. That was the only other Sven game in this tournament was Nigma Galaxy played it. Ghost was on it against NAVI Junior. They ended up losing that game. But it was played with like Ringmaster, Primal Beast, Nature's Prophet, and Phoenix against Lion, ET, Puck, Bristle, TB. Not the easiest game for a Sven to not just get kited out there. So this time around, we'll see if Shiro can make it work. They did also go to the Wrath of God facet in that game, of course. Deadshot comes through, Stormhammer, and the calling. But not enough damage to get the kill there on Asaxa, but it does make him uncomfortable in lane, where maybe if they could pull that combo off again, they could get a kill before he's able to snowball. Nothing to say. Currently only sitting at 13-2 to the 19-10 of BZM. Maybe a little bit of a surprise that the CS isn't as even.
He was keeping up, but he also has a full wave to work with, so gonna be getting extra couple of CS. Want to see what the item build on him is gonna be. Mid one.
Eating this Deadshot, honestly. Nothing too crazy coming through. But you can see Saxa wrapping around from behind.
They want to get ready. They want to dive. They will use it.
But there's the calling, so Saxa doesn't immediately get those shards off, and he's not able to get the kill, so they back out of the tower range and just continue to pressure the wave. I believe they did get a courier there in the meantime. So some extra gold just to be grabbed. Still concerned about Bach. I mean, he's fine right now, 20-8, but if you've been with us this entire series, I think the concern baseline is pretty important. Planet's going to freeze over. He did some decent damage, but now they go to the Firestorm onto these boars and onto the gyrocopter, but it's just not enough. And actually, this Underlord's courier is going to be sent packing back. Not killed.
Boars are on the high ground. Whitemon needs to be careful. Seems like Planet also didn't see this one.
Blood grenade. Planet moving forward, and the cold feet not going to go over. And now Saxa, he'll look for shards, but can Planet juke throughout the trees? No, he can't. Perfect shards there. And the Rocket Barrage won't matter. It's going to be a kill here between Whitemon and Saxa over in the top lane. Good shards. Kind of assuming he didn't go down the steps, put him perfectly on to the gyrocopter to at least get that trade. And Whitemon showing up.
Very nice micro from Bach.
Burrow strike. BCM has to be very careful, but now the Searing Chains of the Cold Feet, it's a turnaround. Nothing to say, killed by Whitemon, who is continuing to show brilliance on an Ancient Apparition. Not the hardest kill to get, he threw Cold Feet. Chilling
comes Saxa.
But now Saxa's here, and
ready with the slice.
Freezing over again. This is something they talked about on the panel, the overwhelming lanes of Tundra that can kind of make it so the pace of the game for Tidebound is tough. And here we are already with 2 kills in that mid lane that were pretty important.
All of that because they got a kill in the top lane, Ancient Apparition, TPs to the mid lane. Otherwise, this move like this wouldn't happen. Allows Saxa to TP to the top lane and then moves from top to mid, get another kill. Nothing to say. I wanted to see whether he's going to be getting maybe Road of Atos to keep people inside.
Nothing to say is
level 6 on him. Amplified damage.
Dead again.
More than enough.
Pop that epicenter for nothing and back-to-back deaths. I don't even think Yeah, his TP's still on cooldown for 40 more seconds. So I know they wanted also on the panel to get Sven some, you know, stacks there, and he should have priority, but nothing to say making it his priority.
There's also good potential that they go in and they try to steal the stacks. We saw it in game number 1, how aggressive they were playing. Planet.
Firestorm's definitely an ability that can clean it up.
It's only level 1. It's going to be more about his atrophy aura,
right,
getting that cleave damage.
Fair enough. Bak is level 6, so they do have Primal Roar. They do see with the boar that the Ember Spirit is coming through.
All right, just going to throw it out there, B-Cup.
Yeah.
This is the fastest Heaven's Halberd we've seen so far in the tournament. 7 minutes and 35 seconds, I believe. This item, we usually don't see it that often anymore, ever since we nerfed it. And people also realize that Crimson Guard a lot of the times is a better option. Sure, you can still disassemble it, but yeah, gonna be great against Sven. Other heroes, not as much. Maybe Muerta in certain situations, if he's gonna be able to get some of that right-click damage. Beastmaster can also be okay-ish against it.
Muerta, I believe, in trouble over at the tier 1. Sleight of Fist coming through. Y is gonna die here to the Iron Shell and right clicks of mid 1 with some help from the rest of his friends. But now they're here to take these stacks, something they were trying not to give up. And the Ion Shell is going to make this easy. They're going to be able to take all these stacks away. You really need to try and fight this. But the problem is, do they have enough? They'll get the kill on a White Mon. They'll end up losing Planet. They've got Crystallis here who's going to bail out with this Fiend's Gate.
A little surprised Crystallis didn't go for enemy stacks. Seems like they think they have more than enough, but with that extra 140 damage and extra 35% cleave,
they definitely
should be able to clear this relatively easy. But for now, it's going to be mid 1.
All going to mid 1.
One of the problems here we've seen in the past, Tundra, we're just taking over Tidebound stacks.
Top tower is under attack.
This is already looking really good for Tundra. Sven, he'll need some time. Surely will need some time. And Shiro, that was one of the things that they did well enough in game number 2 for Tidebound, was give Shiro that amount of time, but also it was on the back of the fact that Nothing to Say was able to get some farm and do some damage himself. This game already getting shut down, and why? He's dead. So another kill here for mid 1. More going the way of Tundra. You need Sand King to get this Blink Dagger, which he's far away from. You're trying to get this Ags quick enough on this Beastmaster, but now he doesn't have access to stacks. And that's a big issue.
Again,
the damage drop-off.
Shutting down Bak.
Yeah.
All 3 games.
I wouldn't say a complete shutdown where he's game 1 died 6 times.
Sure, they shut down Sand King more, I would say. But both of these heroes and Sven kind of want to farm in the triangle. Sure, the map is big, but also if you lose your tower in the mid lane, if you lose tower in the top lane, which definitely should be falling relatively shortly, Tundra, they want to put some pressure on it. It does allow you to get even better access to the triangle.
They've got this vision up here. Searing Chains do connect. And now the snowball, but they're going deep. They drop the wall down. They go to the Fiend's Gate. They're looking for the epicenter, and Nothing to Say. He's not even going to get it off. The Primal Roar gets used. You've now used so much. He was going into the Fiend's Gate for a second. Now he's stuck in this small spot where the shards are there. The Pit of Malice is on the other side. So he's frozen over to the Cold Feet, and he can't do anything. Walrus Punch takes out Bak, and all 3 cores on Tidebound have been wiped away.
Oh man, Shiro, that would be a next level play. Imagine if he goes and finds stacks in the enemy triangle, because this is where the gates were.
4th kill here for Tundra.
Their Slight won't even need it.
Nothing to Say is going to try and come back, but what do you really have? You have no Blink Dagger to cut the distance between you and these heroes, and they're going to just kill you again. They've got this obs. The Ice Blast is there. I mean, Nothing to Say. You just came back to life.
BZM was out of remnants. But definitely go in and try to grab that kill. Now Planet, level 5 Gyrocopter. I don't think he's getting out of this one.
No. Walrus Punch again, and the damage, Crystallis, 183 on that Atrophy Aura.
You get a hero kill, you immediately go back to jungle. That damage is insane. Sitting at 300 damage. Look at how big that cleave is.
Yeah, not good for the creep equilibrium. Not that that matters at 12 minutes, of course.
You can have unlimited, like, amount of cleave on that hero with this facet. Because it scales. The more you have, the bigger the cleave's gonna be. Sure, Sven right now, he has an advantage. 95% cleave.
Has the advantage there, but not the net worth.
Yeah. More damage, but overall AoE is much bigger on Underlord.
Mask of Madness for Sven. I just don't see where they alleviate the pressure at the moment, unless willingly Tundra kind of back off, but they might have learned their lesson from game number 2. At least a little bit. They'll come over their smoke. Crystallis again has that Fiend's Gate. He's ready to make a jump. And he still has so much damage here. Extra 136, and uh-oh, that courier gives away the position of Planet. And they blow up Planet, looking like the movie Armageddon. Innocence on the run, and Mid One's gonna get another kill there. It's just 14-2, kind of a similar story to the game 1.
They're so freaking active on Tundra. They didn't even take tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, and they were playing behind tier 2 and between tier 2 and tier 3 tower. On the left, stealing some of the stacks one more time.
At this point, do you think why stack? Because that stacks made. I would love to see stacks taken. Because that number might be flopped around.
Don't have to waste the time. You can farm, you can make pressure on the map, and then clear the enemy stacks. Nothing to say.
Saxa.
Nice
Dodge
dodge.
strike, but this is not a great fight already. Fiend's Gate is down. They'll get the kill onto Innocence if the snowball connects. They don't even need it. The Sleight of Fist is there. Nothing to say. Able to get an escape using that Blink Dagger, but Planet's dead anyway. EZM with a double kill.
Underlord has 400 damage with double hit and Mask of Madness attack speed, so the tower gonna immediately disappear. This is why Dota is such a beautiful game.
Roar. Bach. He's at least got the damage there. That is pre-Ags that he's able to do that. But here's the Pit of Malice, and here's the big damage coming in from Crystallis. Snowball shards, and Bach's got nowhere to go. He shows his back to Crystallis, and maybe after 2 games of playing Bristleback, that is just stuck in his brain, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way.
And now Echo Saber's done. Mask of Madness going into BKB, level 13 on Underlord.
They're going to try to...
They don't want to let this one go.
I was going to say they might try to sneak it in terms of sneaking position and going for these heroes on Tundra. Nice blast. Flying all the way through. And God Strength was used, so now call down coming in and not really mattering. Planet tried, but BZM will tip, and they get the shards on Saxa, which makes life even more difficult for these heroes trying to run away from Tundra.
Planet is behind the enemy lines. He wants to get any kind of farm he can get on the other side of the map, because map is getting smaller. And this is the item that we don't see almost ever. Urn of Shadows on Tusk. He wanted to keep the pressure, have extra bit of extra damage, and also wants to have any kind of regeneration, because their heroes, like right now, at least there's no mech. There is pipe available on mid one. He opted to go for Heaven's Halberd. Can we check the stats on that urn?
Okay.
Because I feel like nobody's buying that item.
You want to know how many have been made?
Yeah, how many, if we have the stats for how many, and if this is the fastest one. Because nobody built that item. Ever since we changed Fluffy Hat, ever since we changed that circlet is not part of the item, nobody wants to buy it.
Those shards make it impossible for Y to get away after Pierce the Veil is over. Well, BZM gets the mega kill streak. It is bought for the first time on this hero for item timing. So it's a record. see if it's on anybody else. Axe for the Bach has been finished.
Radiant's
So now you've got access to some damage with the Drums of Slom, and maybe a way to make up ground, especially if you've got God Strength at the same time. He's got the Echo Saber, and he's also bought the extra Ogre Axe, so he's going into the BKB with the Echo Saber. And maybe at that point, they could turn it around. And I would say that's the item timing where it feels like it'll be most definitive. It's tough.
They need him in the fights. Right now, he hasn't been involved into anything yet. BZM and the rest have been doing a very good job at keeping the map small enough, keeping that pressure.
Whitemon here with BZM. Not finding these heroes, and Whitemon, who had an amazing game as the Ancient Apparition, continuing as he's been involved in 13 of the 18 kills that Tundra have had up to this point. BKB also finished for the Underlord, and now Bach, the Surge behind him, and here comes Saksa. I don't know if he was expecting this, but the Primal Roar, the Ice Blast in, the Fiend's Gate is there. They get the kill on a Saksa in the vacuum into the Pit of Mountains.
Bam, look at that damage. He also clicked the gate. Seems like the gate click box is pretty big. Shiro made that mistake.
Look at how far he was cleaving.
And now you have all that extra damage. You have 450 damage. It looks so funny when he uses Tumbler's Toy. That big of a guy, the sound that he makes.
So does the cleave? The cleave actually goes that far, right? It doesn't just look like that.
Yeah.
That is a little ridiculous. Nothing to say as a Blink Dagger and a Burrow Strike, maybe an Epicenter, but he's not here, so it's just Planet who's trying to be this deterrent. He tried at the Tormentor and he tried at Roche. Aegis for the Underlord. It is now 4-20.
Nice.
Radiant's top
And
tower is under attack.
maybe if Tidebound could find a kill, they could ignite a comeback. But it's going to take a big fight to spark the ignition of an engine for this team to make some sort of a play on the map.
They lost all 3 games when it comes down to first 10, 15-ish minutes. Planet
Found Planet.
to get caught one more time. We'll get Observer Ward before he dies, so at least it's something.
He got almost as much gold as the death of himself. Nothing to say. Still kind of avoiding punishment for the moment.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And there's that BKB for Shiro. Round of Atos for Y, and that's a little bit of extra control. Unfortunately, he's now been spotted by Saksa. Has to TP, hopefully behind the trees, and they got the Walrus Punch at the last half second.
Pretty much.
Oh, no. Disarm during Pierce the Veil. You don't even get to right-click now. You just have to watch as you know you're dying. That is 22 kills for the side of Tundra. And
Doesn't feel like Tidebound have been across the river throughout the whole game.
ever? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scary monster in the river.
Don't talk about Roche like that. Oh!
He was out.
Oh!
This has to be the closest I've seen. It's literally the last thing.
It's usually that weird one where, like, you go back to base, you still go up in the air from the Walrus Punch or something like that. That's a stun that'll get you upset. Where you see the .1, you think you're out, and now you're like, what the? Come on. All right. Harpoon now available, but Shiro looking for his own Harpoon. He's also looking for a Blink Dagger. Harpoon Underlord. He's got 200 extra damage with the Atrophy Aura. That's slowly going down a little bit. But he hits so hard.
You lose one fight with this guy, or against this guy, you're going to lose 2 sides if you don't have any buybacks. It's way too much damage. I also want to see Daedalus on the hero. I just want to see big numbers using Twin Gate. Sorry, Fiend's Gate.
Ooh, a good Burrow Strike location. Oof.
This time, Saksa not fast enough.
That
Dire's
would have
top
hurt.
tower has fallen.
The soul of Tidebound.
Smoke up, though, from Tidebound. They're actually trying to make a move here. Who could they find? Shield Rune, BCM, the calling, and now they've got the damage. That's at least the combo they can put together. Not bad. And this is kind of what we saw in game 2, right? You thought they were out, and all of a sudden, they got one kill, and then 20,000 net worth lead was gone. Now, I skipped a few parts in between, but that's the general too long didn't watch.
Sven is online. He's still almost 2,000 gold behind Underlord. Has Blink Dagger available.
Yep.
Sven's innate ability allows you to get more damage onto stunned enemies, which is very good. So having that level 10 talent, this is a newer one. So having extra 10% brings it up to 30, and they have quite a lot of stuns. Sven, Sanking, Beastmaster, even Rocket.
Tonight's Dota 2 Game 3, Planet will be playing the role of Bach, as he is dead for the 8th time this game. He has been desperate to find anything. He's got a Force Staff. I mean, that is it.
This cleave is whole screen, pretty much.
That's take Roche from that camp. That's pretty ridiculous. But they look for nothing to say. They pop the dust, the Burrow Strike, and the TP out. He is going to be fine. They'll search, but they won't find him. Ice Blast even flying out. They are searching. Tundra really looking. Pretty insane, but they don't get it. They're up 8,000, but a good Roche fight for Tidebound can bring them back in it. They're looking for something, but they don't know that all of Tundra together. Stormhammer, turn around, Walrus Punch. Good amount of depth. Shiro's out.
The Nightfall, he's
BKB,
out.
TP, that's it, he's leaving. Harpoon pulling back Planet. Wise trying to TP away, but won't be able to do so. Bach with the cold feet, Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains, and Shiro said, let's go, and then immediately changed his mind after the Walrus Punch.
He's the only one, like, this is the only hero that can stop him from TPing out, immediately gets punched during the BKB, realizes that he can get out of the trouble, but the rest of the team, they cannot. Almost 500 damage on Underlord with double hit.
Radiant's structures are fortified.
This is a tier 3. I'll get the cleave. I know you already said it, but can you even, where does it end? Making constellations with that cleave. Get smacked from a mile away. Mid-setter Axe will go down, and they'll go towards the tier 3.
No BKB, no God Strength for 20 seconds. I said if they lose the fight close to their base. This wasn't even close to the base. This was in the river. AC completed now on him. More minus armor, more damage onto the buildings.
Why not?
Radiant's bottom tower.
Shiro's not here meanwhile. But he needs to be careful as they exit his base. He doesn't want to get caught with them retreating. That will be him kind of catching up to the underway. He's 4,000 net worth behind. It's not really as close as it seems. Shard, by the way, for Whitemon, so he'll have that upgrade onto the Ice Blast, which he'll throw out. That won't land on anybody. Planet avoiding it, but
1, 2, 3,
doing so
dead.
Gets caught and ends up dead. Dead shot hits Chrysalis, sends him back towards the Tidebound base.
About to be level 20 on Underlord. Extra damage from that talent is going to make the difference. They need big fight. They need to be jumping the targets first, with Sanking, with Sven, locking onto the same target and killing it.
Radiant are steady.
Shiro needs to try and grab something, but I'm not sure what he can get. I mean, he immediately TP'd down the last one. He wanted the Harpoon, but now he's going to the Daedalus. So he wants to output that damage, but if you get into a scenario again where you blink in BKB and then you realize, all right, it's time to go, oh, you're not doing damage anyway.
They'll get another shard. That one's for mid one. That will be his upgrade to the Surge.
It was very effective in the second game, slowing them down. Extra bit of damage on the ground. Makes the chase very difficult. Slow by 50%. It's a big number. And I like what I see from Saksa. Going into Aghanim Scepter immediately after, he has one job. To disable Sven so that he can't deal the damage. So he's gonna keep the distance, kick him, try to punch him during the BKB, and then they have the damage and the control to be able to deal with Sven.
Turn that death count up to 11. They get another kill onto Planet. Taking out the whole solar system. Fiend's Gate. And not finding anybody waiting for their time to pick up the shrine. But BZM will take over the outpost, and again, the pressure is put on with Roche available. They haven't gone for it yet for Tundra, but maybe there's an opportunity in which Tidebound fight that, but they are down so much. But you got to remember, last game they were down 20,000 net worth, and they made the comeback. And that was off Tundra kind of misplaying their hand on the high ground.
This time around, it feels like they are playing much safer. They're not risking anything.
He's under vision there.
Roshan is alive.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under
Thought maybe
attack.
they saw him. They are heading towards Roche, but so many times we've asked for teams to try and fight it, but they let it go for free, and they're willing to fight this second life. I just don't know about it. It's not going to be fun. Maybe Planet throws another call down.
We saw what can happen. If you lose a game in the river, you lose one set of barracks and also good amount of damage onto tier 3 tower. If you're fighting into this, you lose another fight, they can easily Fiend's Gate into your base and maybe even end the game.
Yeah?
Yeah. So not really surprised that Tidebound does not want to take the fight inside the Roche pit, especially with the deficit that they do have mid one.
Planet on the run again. He has tried so many times, but has died for the 12th time. 12 strikes, a good 300 score. But 2 and 12 here for this gyrocopter. He is just trying to, I guess, space. If I had to assume,
Dire's middle tower
he draws them all the way to the top of the map. You know, Fiend's Gate immediately. Shard's a little bit short. They have 4 minutes with this Aegis. They could Fiend's Gate in at any time. They have a little bit of vision. They could just Fiend's Gate in. It's not the kind of Underlord that you see where he's got the Ags, and that Fiend's Gate also has that Pit of Malice that works with giving you a little bit of lockdown as you jump through. However, he does have a lot of strong items here in the
this
AC
is it.
especially. Uh-oh.
Amplify damage. Crystallis is going for
Oh,
it.
that boar ended up dying. He was looking to deny the amplified damage rune. Oh. Oh. That's a full screen cleave. Again, they see him. That ward's been there for the entire time. BKB TP out.
Saksa's not close
Oh
enough.
my god. I mean, he lost 60%
Without a
of his health
BKB,
anyway.
they want to go. Amplify damage available for another good 20 seconds. Crystallis, Aegis, holding it for 3 minutes.
How do you defend no BKB? Into an Aegis, into the amplified damage, into the cleave. Your options are so limited. Somehow, mid one went on the other side of the shards, and Y ended up inside the shards. I don't really see how that's the case, but the Ice Blast flies in, lands on a Planet, and they'll vacuum him back. Don't quite get that kill, don't quite put him into the baker's dozen. But the bottom set of racks are gone, and they're gonna look tier 2, tier 3, maybe making mega creeps and finish it off.
The only core that they managed to kill was that BZM's Ember Spirit in the river. Other than that, Crystallis, mid one, they haven't died yet.
9, 0, and 12 for mid one. This is just being
death by 1,000 kills for Tundra.
It's coming to your pubs, without a doubt.
The Underworld safe
Somebody's already queuing it up. Somebody's already level 12.
Well, Crystal has did it. I can do it. Oh,
They're ready to close
actually,
it
I
out.
know who's doing it. Jenkins just signed on. So he's going to try and do it in his pub.
Full butterfly on Underlord, which makes it very difficult for Sven to actually deal the damage. Staying one item ahead in the carry-to-carry matchup always feels good. Aegis, minute and 40 seconds.
Will they make their move? I have so much damage here on the Underlord. A nice, cool 526, and they'll get Y again. He's got buyback, but there's the wall. And Shiro, they've got some damage. Mid one's gonna die for the first time, and that's so much gold going to this Sven. Not sure it's gonna be enough, but this is the marker. 19,000 gold last game was the marker that Tidebound brought it back on.
Could this be it? They could wait it out for God's Strength to expire. There's no BKB. Aegis still 1 minute left remaining, so could go for the high ground. And that's what I want to see. Even without Darkseer, I think they should try to poke a little bit, see what happens.
Push that for Whitemon. Can they go? Lock. Farming. Not goes into that position to take that camp, not blink Primal Roar on somebody who has an Aegis. And there's that Ags that you were calling for on the Tusk. He's now got that to have that Walrus kick. Tusk does not skip leg day. That's for sure. Oh, Planet. Avoids the Ice Blast, but freezes over. Here comes Crystallis for the Atrophy Aura edition. Godlike.
Has almost enough gold to buy Satanic. If he sells the item, he will have it. Aegis is about to expire. Knowing that Sven doesn't have BKB for another couple of seconds, Crystallis will go for the high ground. Oh god, look at that
5
damage.
seconds. Dead shot pushing him back. Doesn't get the tower, but mid one looking in, trying to cut the vacuum into the wall. We'll get the tier 3, and now looking to get mega creeps.
5 hits.
Epicenter, Burrow Strike. There's the Stormhammer. Do
Good
they get the
snowball
kill? But the
save.
snowball save is there.
Can he kick him out?
KB, God's Strength was used. The wall is committed, and now mid one's going to go in. They go to the Primal Roar. It's going to be the control onto the Darkseer, but they've got
Crystal is going for the
They're trying to
buildings.
get the kill. The
Never
Burrow
mind.
Strike. Nope. Crystallis has way too much damage. He is just wiping people down and wiping them off
damage.
the face of the earth. It is so much damage for this Underlord. The Firestorm's not even good damage when you're able to just one-shot these guys. There's one. Harpoon Crystallis. He fights back
Planet
against
is dying
this
to
man.
leave.
Doesn't really care. And they'll get the kill or nothing to say. He's got no buyback. GG is called. Tundra have made it to the final day of the tournament as they take over and take out Tidebound 2-1.
We've seen some beautiful Dota today. We saw some new stuff coming out, and this is why this game is so beautiful to play. Like this has been in the game for